Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Many. So what if I told you that you could build a full app without writing a single line of code, just pure vibe coding? In this video, I'll show you how I built an entire app using Google AI Studio, and I didn't touch a single line of code. From idea to working app, no coding, no complex setups, just the power of AI and a few smart clicks. So whether you are a complete beginner or you're just looking to speed up your workflow, this tool is a game changer. Stick around because I'll be walking you through the entire process step by step. Let's get started. So when you come into Google AI Studio, you'd see that you have about 1 million tokens that you could use, and that's what I'm going to be leveraging to build this application. And they do have a number of tools here. So they have like the structured output tool, they have their code execution tool, they have the function calling to URL context, and they also have like additional setters. So we'll see if we would have to tap into any of these resources here. Make sure that you are on Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is the latest version that has been released. Okay, so I'm going to come into the chat prompt first, and you always need to have an idea for the application that you want to build, okay? So for instance, in this case, I'm going for a weight loss app. It really depends on what sort of application you want to build. Since I'm going for a weight loss app, I'm just going to come in here and say that I want to build an app for weight loss. What would my MVP features be? You don't know what MVP means. MVP means minimal variable product. Really, what this means is that I just want the least amount of features that I can launch into the market. So I'm going to click on run, and it's going to give me a number of features that I could use. So let's see what we get. Okay, so for my prompt, this is what we got. So we have about 4 essential features that's the model recommended for us. So the first one has to do with like user registration and the both basic profile creation. The second one has to do with like calorie tracking, and the third one has to do with like the weight tracking, and the fourth one has to do with goal setting and basic calculation. I mean, if you've been wanting to lose weight, these are some of the like the main things that you would like to do. And the reason why I decided to use this model is that like this model can also do like competitive analysis for you. So basically it could analyze other applications in the market and say that, okay, based on what we have in the market right now, like these are the features you should launch, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this whole thing here, and then I'm going to click on build. So I'm going to come into my Google AI Studio, and I'm going to click on build, and I'm going to say start from template, or I'm just going to put in my own prompt here. This is all I'm going to say. Can you build an app? And I'm going to paste the essential features I had in here, and then I'm going to click on build. You could also add media. So for instance, I could upload an image, upload a PDF, but I'm just going to click on build because I've pasted in what I want my minimum viable product to be, and then I'm going to click on build, and let's see what we get. Okay, so we can see some code in here, generating all the code we need. We didn't have to write any lines of code. So this is really cool because when they show the preview so that you have an idea of what we are building as we build it. So we have our prompt box in here, which is a code assistant, and then we have the tree view of our files, and you see that all the code is being generated for the files we need. So our code has generated our application for us, and I think this is a good place to start. So I'm just gonna analyze this one, and we're gonna test the application we had right now. Okay, so I'm going to click on setup profile, and it has some dummy values in here for us. And then I can enter like my height, whether I'm female, my goal, where I want to get to. And then I'm just going to click on save profile. And then here you can see that it's giving me like, this is the target I want to get to. And like in a day, it's telling me what I can eat and what I can't eat. So really in the requirements, I said I want to be able to track the food. So if I click on log food here, you can see that I can put the food I want in here as well. And it's including like once I put in the servings and everything, it will be able to like assign the amount of calories I had in here. In addition, I can search for food. So let me just give it an example. Let's say I eat rice and I say, and let's say 100 calories, and for protein I say 50, and carbs I say 50, and then fat I say, let's say 60, and then I say yes, and I add manually. You'd see that this would be recorded in here for me. So it's telling me that today I've taken 35 grams of protein, 42 grams of carbs, and 42 grams of fat as well. So this is neat. In terms of the weight, I'm able to track my weight. So let's say if I'm 70 now, today I'm able to log my weight, and every day if I log my weight, it's gonna show like how my weight has changed over time. So if I log in, let's say 60 tomorrow, it would show you how my weight has changed over time. You see all of them on this particular screen here. So this is a very good way to start your journey, especially if you don't know how to code, okay? And like I mentioned, like this is what I asked. Let's say we want to do some additional It's actually even giving us like the things we need, like our calculated needs. Like if we want to lose weight, this is how much of calories we need to take every day to be able to meet our target, which is good. If I want to say, let's say, change the branding, right? So change, let's see, the color of the app to, let's say, red, right? Let's change the color of the app to red. Let's see what happens in the background. If it's able to change the color to meet my brand. If my brand is red, let's see if we're able to change this to give us like a red palette. Wow, so this has been changed for us. Of course, I have to be specific and say change like the buttons and everything. But you want to change the color to red. Let's say I want to include daily challenges, right? I'm just gonna say include daily challenges. I want to finish with this first because it's changing the color across all the different pages. But let's say I want to include daily challenges as well in the app. Let me enter it and let's see what I get. Okay, so this is ready now. So I'm just gonna again expand this and let's see what we get. So now I see that we have like a dashboard tab here, which is great. So I'm gonna set up my profile and save it again. And now you see we have today's challenges, which is 30 minutes of exercise. So for instance, if I did like 40 minutes of exercise, then I can just add it. But you could also set that you want to have, instead of 30 minutes, you have 40 minutes, which is good. So I like the fact that it's sort of like dynamic. This dashboard is also including like my weights, progress, my statistics and everything. So this is pretty neat. I mean, for someone who is trying to write code here, I see how this is very useful. Now, and the other good thing about this is that if you don't want your code to be like local, like you don't want it to just be local, you can also deploy it on the cloud. So all you have to do is you click on deploy to cloud RAM, and then you can basically attach a project. So for instance, I have a project in here, and then all you have to do is you can just deploy the project in here. Okay, so you just click on deploy app. If this is your first time logging in, you would have to like attach your credit card, you would have to like verify your account and do all that. I know that Google also gives you $300 in free credits to play around. So if you are not looking, like you're just starting out, you're not looking to pay for this just yet, you can also leverage their $300 in free trial credits that Google gives so that you'll be able to like deploy all the apps that you have and everything. So that's pretty cool. So let's see how this would look like once we've deployed it to the cloud. Okay, so this has finally been deployed to the cloud. So if I click on view application, you'd see that it's gonna show up here. What this needs is that is it open this on your phone, on a different laptop. This is no longer local to you. And the good thing about this is that if you have your own domain name base and even direct your domain to this particular web page, you can direct your domain to the application. That way people would go to your domain, let's say www.manyintech.com, and then they'll be able to come into this app. So this is pretty neat. This is really good. Okay, so now that you've seen me deploy a full application without writing a single line of code in Google AI Studio, here are my genuine thoughts on building applications without writing a single line of code. Personally, I think that no-code tools such as like Google AI Studio drastically reduce the time from idea to execution. So you don't need to like spin up servers. Although I need at some point you would want to be clear to the crowd and you probably have to sort of define your own parameters in there. You don't need to write any background logic, or you don't even need to touch much of HTML. As you can see, I was able to just put in a prompt to change the colors and all that, and it did work for us. So you can really go from idea to MVP in hours, not weeks. So that's a good thing. The other thing has to do with the fact that there's a low barrier to entry, okay? So you don't need to know how to code to start building. That's huge for non-technical founders, okay? So for instance, if you are building a business and you don't know how to code, you can sort of like prototype your idea and then hand it off to like a developer, right? So that's very huge for non-technical founders, marketers, or creators who just want to ship something that works. Now, the third one has to do with like testing your ideas. So there's like rapid iteration. So you can test your ideas way faster. You can make changes, experiment with features, and data user feedback without digging through complex code bases. And that would definitely be a huge plus. Now, the other good thing about using the Google AI Studio or other no-code platforms is also the fact that platforms like Google AI Studio would usually offer plug-and-play integrations with either Google services. So you could integrate your application with, let's say, Google Sheets, Firebase, Vertex, AI, and which can be super powerful when you use them wisely. But then, here are some of the not so good things about it, okay? Just be mindful of the fact that there's also platform locking. And what I mean is that you're building inside someone else's sandbox. So if Google changes their APIs, they change their pricing, or they shut the servers down, and know that Google has shut so many services down, like you you go to Google Gravy, you see so many applications that have been sort of shut down, like Google Hangouts, Stadia, etc. Your app could be in trouble. So you always have to ask, like, how portable is this? How easy is it for me to move this from Google AI Studio to like a different platform? Now, the other thing has to do with like limited customization. I know I was able to change things like the colors and stuff like that, but usually no-code platforms are abstract, which is great until you hit a wall. So if your use case meets specific logic, right, advanced data structures or granular control, you might outgrow the platform quickly. And also the third thing that I find to be very critical also has to do with like data privacy and compliance. So you're often storing data on like third-party sellers. So if your app deals with, let's say, sensitive user data like health, finance, identity, you must understand how data is handled and read your fine print seriously. Finally, there's also some bottlenecks I see when it comes to scalability, okay? Most no-code tools are built for prototyping. Like this one, I mean, we can see that the app and everything is working well, but you need to really dig into their code and also look into the database and everything, right? And just make sure that like your app is set up correctly, because if your app suddenly gets traction, performance issues might kick in, okay? And then now migrating to a custom build system might also get messy. So what you should keep in mind, this is what I suggest: start with no code and then scale with no code or custom code. So you can use the Google AI Studio to sort of like build your application. You can use it to like prototype. You can use it to get you started so that you don't just think that as a founder you need a lot of money to get started. You can use this definitely for sure to get started. Use it as your launch pad, but don't make it your forever home. And then you can, as you're designing the application, just be sure that you have an exit strategy in mind. Okay, so think ahead. What happens if I need to migrate off this, right? And then the third one has to do with like testing ideas. Okay, so use this no code to like validate your core idea. So if people care about it, then they'll definitely like invest in scaling properly. And then finally, learn just enough technical concepts. So don't say I'm not technical and I can just write prompts to build my applications. So I don't need to write any single line of code. So I'm not going to be technical. No. So even if you're not coding, just make sure that you understand APIs, you understand databases, and you understand like logic flows. It would help you make like smarter choices and communicate better with developers later on if you decide to like move on onto like a custom solution. So I'd like to hear your thoughts, right? What do you think about no code solutions like this? The fact that you're able to build an application with just like a simple prompt. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. And as usual, like I do have other tutorials I've done on Google AI Studio. I'm going to link them on the screen here. And if you have any questions, again, don't forget to leave them in the comment section below. As usual, like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. That is it for today's tutorial. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.